Listen, I need to talk to you about something that just happened in WWE that has absolutely divided the entire fanbase, and honestly, it's been destroying the comment sections everywhere. People are furious, people are confused, and people are demanding answers about what Roman Reigns and the Usos just did before that absolutely insane Bron Breaker match. This is the kind of moment that reminds us why we love professional wrestling, but it's also the kind of moment that makes you question everything you thought you knew about these superstars. So stick around, because we're breaking down exactly what went down, what it means, and why this decision is going to haunt WWE for months to come. The wrestling world woke up in absolute chaos yesterday. Twitter was on fire, Reddit threads were getting locked, TikTok videos were racking up millions of views in minutes. And it all centered around one incredible, bewildering, and frankly infuriating moment that nobody saw coming. Roman Reigns, the tribal chief himself, the man who has positioned himself as the absolute pinnacle of WWE, stood in that ring alongside the Usos, and they did something that literally nobody expected. They sent a message to CM Punk, not just any message, a heartfelt message, a genuine, emotional, soul-crushing message that completely changed the narrative heading into one of the most anticipated matches of the entire year against Bron Breaker. Now, before I dive deeper into this absolute madness, I need to ask you something. Do you think Roman Reigns made the right call sending that message to CM Punk? Seriously, I want to know. Drop your answer in the comments section right now, because this is tearing the community apart. Are you Team Roman on this one, or do you think he completely overstepped and betrayed everything the Bloodline stands for? Let me know what you genuinely think, because trust me, your opinion matters for the next video we're dropping. Here's the thing that absolutely enrages me about this entire situation. For years, Roman Reigns has built his entire persona on being ruthless, calculating, and willing to destroy anyone who stands in his way. He's the tribal chief. He's the guy who doesn't explain himself. He doesn't show vulnerability. He doesn't have time for sentiment or feelings. That's been his entire character arc. That's what made him the most dominant force in WWE. And then out of nowhere, before arguably the biggest match of his year against this absolute monster named Bron Breaker, he goes soft. He shows emotion. He reaches out to CM Punk, and the wrestling world is losing its mind trying to figure out why. The Usos were right there with him too. These two brothers, who have been the absolute foundation of the Bloodline, who have stood by Roman through everything, through every controversy, every match, every moment of pure undeniable dominance, they also got emotional. They also participated in this moment. And honestly, that's what makes this even more confusing to fans. Because the Usos have never, and I mean never, shown this kind of vulnerability to anyone. They've been stone-cold soldiers. They've been the muscle. They've been the enforcers. And suddenly they're standing there, genuinely moved, genuinely reaching out to CM Punk, a guy who has had some incredibly complicated history with certain members of the WWE roster. But here's where it gets really interesting, and this is the part that's going to blow your mind. The timing of this message, coming right before the Bron Breaker match, is not a coincidence. It's deliberate. It's calculated. It's psychology. Think about it for a second. Roman Reigns is about to step into the ring with one of the most physically impressive young talents that WWE has produced in decades. Bron Breaker is a freak of nature. He's younger. He's stronger. He's hungrier. He's got nothing to lose and everything to gain. He's coming for Roman's throne, and he's coming hard. So what does Roman do? He humanizes himself. He shows that underneath all that bravado, all that championship talk, all that tribal chief mentality, there's an actual human being in there. Now, the question burning in everyone's mind is, what exactly did he say to CM Punk? What was the nature of this message? Was it an apology? Was it respect? Was it acknowledgement of CM Punk's incredible journey and his recent return to WWE? Was it something darker, something more strategic? Because here's the absolute truth that nobody wants to admit: nothing in professional wrestling happens by accident. Everything is orchestrated. Everything is calculated. Every word, every gesture, every moment is designed to get a reaction and to advance a narrative. So when Roman Reigns of all people decides to send a heartfelt message to CM Punk, we need to understand the motivation. We need to understand the endgame. Let me ask you something else. Do you think this message was genuine, or do you think it was purely strategic psychology designed to get inside Bron Breaker's head? Because that's the real question that's splitting the fanbase right down the middle. Some people are saying this is the most beautiful moment WWE has had in years, showing that these athletes transcend their characters and genuinely respect each other. Other people are saying this is disgusting, that Roman Reigns is playing mind games, that this message is manipulation designed to look good before he goes out there and beats Bron Breaker into submission. Which side are you on? Because I genuinely want to know, and I think you should tell me in the comments. The backstory here is absolutely crucial to understanding why this moment hit so different. CM Punk's journey through WWE has been nothing short of extraordinary and complicated. He's had his UPS. He's had his massive downs. He's been injured. He's been frustrated. He's been isolated. And through it all, he's kept fighting. He's kept pushing. He's kept believing in himself even when seemingly everyone else had written him off. And Roman Reigns, the guy who has been at the absolute top of WWE during this entire time, watching CM Punk struggle, watching him battle, watching him come back from devastating injuries and setbacks, apparently felt compelled to acknowledge it, to honor it, to say something to him that mattered. The Usos' involvement in this is particularly fascinating because it suggests that the Bloodline, as an entity, has evolved beyond pure dominance and control. They've become more than just a faction dedicated to power. There's something deeper happening. There's a code of honor emerging. There's a recognition that in this business, respect between warriors is sacred. Even if you're on opposite sides of the ring, even if you're fighting for completely different things, there's this underlying understanding that these athletes are all suffering, all sacrificing, all pushing themselves to absolute limits for the fans and for the love of this industry. And that apparently resonated with Roman and the Usos in a way that transcended their characters. But here's what really has people upset. Some fans are saying this message to CM Punk was disrespectful to Bron Breaker. They're saying that by focusing attention on CM Punk, by sending this emotional message, by creating this whole moment around someone else, Roman is potentially diminishing the importance of his match against Bron. He's taking focus away from a young guy who deserves the spotlight. He's making it about something other than what it should be about: two warriors stepping into the ring to determine who is the superior competitor. And that's actually a valid criticism that nobody's really talking about. The Bron Breaker match itself is going to be absolutely insane because now we have all this emotional baggage, all this psychological warfare, all this extra narrative floating around it. Bron is coming in as the hungrier competitor. He's got nothing to lose. He's got a chip on his shoulder. He's got his legacy to prove. He's got his pedigree, his family name, his incredible athletic ability all driving him forward. And now, because of this message to CM Punk, Roman is entering that match with a completely different energy. He's shown vulnerability. He's shown emotion. He's shown that he cares about things beyond just winning championships and maintaining dominance. And in professional wrestling, that kind of vulnerability can be exploited. Let me ask you this, because I'm genuinely curious. Do you think Roman showed weakness by sending this message to CM Punk, or do you think he showed strength and humanity? Because this is literally what's being debated in every single wrestling forum right now. Some people think it's the bravest thing Roman Reigns has ever done. Other people think it's the dumbest thing Roman Reigns has ever done. There is no middle ground on this. People are furious one way or the other. So tell me where you stand. Comment below. Tell me what you think. Because this is the kind of moment that defines how we view these superstars going forward. The timing was also incredibly suspicious. Why did this message come right before the Bron Breaker match? Why not at some other point? Why not on a different week? Why specifically now, when Roman is about to face the most dangerous young threat in WWE? Some conspiracy theorists in the fanbase are suggesting that WWE Creative orchestrated this entire thing as a way to generate buzz, to create talking points, to make the match even more significant than it already was. And honestly, that's probably exactly what happened. But that doesn't make the moment any less impactful. It doesn't make the message any less meaningful. It just means we're understanding the machinery behind the storytelling. What's absolutely crazy is how this has affected CM Punk's character and momentum. For the longest time, CM Punk was rebuilding. He was fighting through doubt and injury and people's expectations. He was trying to prove himself all over again. And getting this acknowledgement from Roman Reigns, from the guy at the top of WWE, that's validating. That's empowering. That's the kind of thing that can completely change someone's mental state heading into future matches and future opportunities. So in a weird way, Roman Reigns' message to CM Punk might be the most supportive, most uplifting thing that could have happened for him right now. The Bloodline dynamic is also shifting in really interesting ways. For a long time, this faction was about control, about power, about making sure that the tribal chief maintained his throne and everyone else fell in line. But now, with the Usos participating in this message to CM Punk, with them showing that they can have respect and honor for other wrestlers, it's suggesting that the Bloodline is evolving into something more. They're becoming more three-dimensional. They're becoming more complex. They're showing that you can be absolutely dominant and honorable at the same time. You can be ruthless and respectful. And that's actually incredible character development. But the real question that everyone's asking is whether this is going to impact the match itself. Is Bron Breaker going to be distracted by this? Is he going to feel like he's fighting for attention against this whole CM Punk narrative? Or is he going to be energized by it, knowing that if he beats Roman, he beats the guy, regardless of what emotional stuff might be happening in the background? Because that's what separates good competitors from great competitors. It's their ability to block out everything else and focus on the person standing across from them in the ring. The wrestling world needs competitors like Bron Breaker. We need young guys with that kind of intensity, that kind of athleticism, that kind of presence. He represents the future. And when he steps in the ring with Roman Reigns, who represents the present and the authority and the established order, that's compelling storytelling. That's the kind of match that main events pay-per-views. That's the kind of match that gets people talking. And now, with this added layer of emotional complexity, this message from Roman to CM Punk, it's even more compelling. Here's what I think is going to happen, and I want you to tell me if you agree. I think Roman goes into this match with Braun with completely different mindset than he normally would. I think the vulnerability he showed, the humanity he displayed, that's going to make him more dangerous, not less dangerous. Because now he's got something to prove beyond just winning. He's got to prove that showing emotion doesn't make you weak. He's got to prove that you can be compassionate and dominant at the same time. And that's the kind of motivation that creates absolute wars in the wrestling ring. The fans are split down the middle on this entire thing, and that's what makes it so beautiful from a storytelling perspective. Half the fans think this was the most touching, most genuine, most real moment WWE has had in a long time. The other half thinks it was manipulative, strategic, and a complete departure from everything Roman Reigns has stood for as a character. And the truth is probably somewhere in the middle. It was probably a genuine moment that was also strategically timed and orchestrated. Because in professional wrestling, those things aren't mutually exclusive. You can have real moments that also serve storyline purposes. The Usos being there made this moment even more significant because they're not just Roman's backup. They're his brothers. They're his family. They're the people he trusts most in this entire industry. And if the Usos felt compelled to participate in this message to CM Punk, that tells us something profound about how they view CM Punk's journey and his place in WWE. It's not just a professional respect. It's something deeper. It's something more meaningful. So before this match with Bron Breakker happens, before we see how Roman responds to this young, hungry, physically superior competitor, I need to know what you think. Is this message going to help Roman or hurt him? Is it going to inspire him or distract him? Is it going to make the match more intense or less intense? Because this is the kind of thing that's going to be dissected for years if the outcome goes a certain way. If Roman dominates Braun, people will say the message showed his confidence and humanity. If Braun somehow pulls off the upset, people will say the message showed Roman's vulnerability and lack of focus. So the match itself is going to be interpreted through this lens. The absolute wildest part about all of this is that WWE managed to create a moment that simultaneously made people love Roman more and question Roman more. They made people respect CM Punk more. They made people think differently about the Usos. They made people suddenly care even more about the Bron Breakker match. And they did it all with one simple message. That's the power of professional wrestling storytelling when it's executed properly. That's what makes this industry so incredible. I'm telling you right now, this is going to be one of those moments that gets replayed. It's going to be one of those moments that people reference for years. It's going to be one of those moments that changes how we view these superstars and their relationships with each other. Because in professional wrestling, vulnerability and strength are not opposites. They're two sides of the same coin, and Roman Reigns just proved that better than maybe anyone ever has. So thank you for watching this breakdown. Thank you for staying engaged. And please tell me in the comments what you think about this entire situation. Are you Team Roman? Are you skeptical? Do you think this helps or hurts him going into the Bron Breakker match? Do you think CM Punk deserved this acknowledgement? Do you think the Usos should have been involved? Because this is the kind of discussion that makes our community incredible. This is what professional wrestling is all about. Not just the action in the ring, but the stories we tell and the emotions those stories create. Drop your thoughts below, share this video with someone who needs to see this, and don't forget to subscribe to Ring Rumble for more coverage of the moments that matter in WWE. I'll see you in the next one.